My name is Daniel Cooper. I used to deliver packages on the night shift for a warehouse in Dayton, Ohio. It was far from glamorous, but it paid the bills. Most nights were quiet, just me, the empty road, and the low hum of streetlights cutting through the industrial district. But there's something about those streets after midnight. Something heavy, like the air itself remembers things you were never meant to see. It all started on a Thursday night in late October. I was finishing my last drop-off near Miller Industrial Road, right by the old train yard. The whole area was deserted, except for a single, lonely streetlight flickering on the corner. And that's when I saw him for the first time. A tall man, dressed in a perfectly black suit, standing completely motionless under the light. His skin was pale, almost unnaturally so, and his right hand was raised, pointing straight ahead. He wasn't moving, not even a twitch, just pointing. At first, I figured it was just some drunk, or maybe a security guard trying to be funny. But as I drove past, his head didn't turn, his eyes didn't even blink. I glanced in my rearview mirror, and he was still there, arm extended, finger aimed down the road. The very next night, I saw him again. Same spot, same flickering light, same pose. Only this time, as I slowed the van down, his hand shifted. He pointed directly at me. I don't know why, but it froze me solid. For just a second, my headlights dimmed, and I swear his shadow stretched across the asphalt like liquid ink. I hit the gas and drove off, my heart pounding against my ribs. When I got home, I tried to rationalize it. It had to be a mannequin or some elaborate prank. But then, the accident started. A coworker of mine, Tom, covered the same route on weekends. He didn't show up for work one Monday. They said his van was found crashed just a few blocks from Miller Road. But here's the weird part. His dashcam showed nothing but static. No impact, no sound of a crash, just static. But in one single frame, right before it glitched out, you could just barely make out the shape of a figure standing under a streetlight. A week later, the nightmares began. In every single one, the man was there. He'd be standing in the corner of my room, pointing at me with that same stiff, unmoving arm. I'd wake up in a cold sweat to find my phone alarm had been turned off, even though I always set it before bed. I tried telling my supervisor I needed a new route, but he just laughed it off. "You've been working too many nights, Cooper," he said. "Get some sleep." Sleep. That was the problem. I couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, all I saw was that pale face. One night, I decided I had to get proof. I parked near the same streetlight, my phone camera, recording from the dashboard. Midnight came and went. The wind was completely still. For 10 long, agonizing minutes, absolutely nothing happened. Then, at exactly 12:17, the light began to flicker. And there he was. He stepped forward from the shadow, same black suit, same bone-white face. But now his eyes, they were completely black, like pools of oil, reflecting no light at all. His finger came up and pointed directly at my camera. In that instant, my phone buzzed violently, the screen froze, and the video cut out. When I played it back later, the footage ended the exact moment he raised his hand. There was no figure, just that empty, desolate corner. I tried to forget. I switched to daytime shifts, started going to therapy. I even moved to a new apartment, but it didn't matter. Wherever I went, I saw him. Sometimes I'd catch his reflection in a glass door. Other times I'd see him standing on the side of the road as I drove by, always pointing. The nightmares got worse too. In one, I was standing in a hallway, and the walls were slowly closing in on me. The man whispered something I couldn't understand. It wasn't English, but the sound felt like a name, my name. I woke up screaming, with a nosebleed, and my clock was frozen at 3:33 a.m. I quit my job in December. The day I turned in my badge, another driver pulled me aside. His face was pale, his eyes were bloodshot. "You've seen him too, haven't you?" he whispered. "The man in the suit. He told me he'd been delivering to Miller Road since 2019. The first time he saw the man, he thought it was just a trick of the light. The second time, his daughter got sick with a mysterious illness. The third time, his wife was in a near-fatal car accident. He said everyone who gets pointed at, they lose something. Sometimes it's a person they love. Sometimes it's their own mind. I didn't want to believe him, but then I started hearing knocks on my apartment door at night. Always 3 knocks. Always between 3 o'clock and 3:05 a.m. when I finally worked up the courage to look through the peephole. There was no one there, just a faint, long shadow stretched across the hallway carpet, as if someone tall was standing right outside my door. The next morning, I found muddy footprints leading from my door to the elevator. They weren't mine. I showed the building manager the security footage. He said the cameras glitched out from 3:02 to 3:06. 4 minutes of footage, just gone. A few weeks later, I got a call from an unknown number. The line was filled with static, and then a deep, guttural voice whispered, "Don't look away." That night, the lights in my apartment began to flicker on and off. I looked out my window, and across the parking lot, I saw him again standing under the orange glow of a street lamp. Same stance, same hand raised, pointing right at my window. I shut the blinds, my hand shaking. But curiosity, it eats you alive, doesn't it? Around 2 a.m., I peeked again. He was closer, nudged across the street, under the next lamppost. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. A notification popped up. New video recorded, but I hadn't touched the camera. My blood ran cold. When I played the video, I almost dropped the phone. It was footage of me, sleeping in my own bed, and standing behind me, at the foot of my bed, was the man. His arm was extended, his finger pointing directly at my head. The next morning, I left town. I didn't quit my job, I just ran. I sold everything I owned, moved to a different state, changed my number. But last week, driving through an empty stretch of road in Indiana, I saw him again. He was standing beneath a dead billboard, rain pouring down, his black suit soaked through, pointing. I don't know if he follows me, or if I somehow carry him with me now. Maybe once you're seen, you can never truly be unseen. Maybe it's not the man that chooses you. Maybe it's the guilt, the fear, the darkness you already have inside you that draws him out. So if you ever find yourself driving alone at night, and you see a figure standing under a flickering light, don't stop, don't slow down, don't even blink, because once he points at you, you'll never outrun where he wants you to go.